Geobyte.
Hello friends, welcome to the Geobyte. In this video, let us discuss some very important problems for the fluid mechanics under the topic of properties of fluids. Dear friends, believe me, I have collected all these problems from different standard textbooks. Therefore, I personally believe that each and every problem is equally important. Please watch till the last problem and practice. While you are practicing, if you get any doubt, please don't forget to send your doubt to the Geobyte. Definitely, the Geobyte team will answer your question within 24 hours. Look at the very first problem. When subjected to shear force, a fluid, option A, deforms continuously only for large shear force. No, large shear force is not required. B, deforms continuously only for large shear stress. No, doesn't require. Option C, deforms continuously no matter how small the shear stress may be. Yes, absolutely correct. Irrespective of the force or shear stress, the fluids are continuously deforming. Even if small force is acting on the liquid surface or gas, the liquids or gases continuously flowing. Anyhow, the fluid is always deforming continuously irrespective of the force which is acting on the surface of the fluid. Anyhow, option C is absolutely correct. Shall we take another problem? Yes. Look at the second problem. An ideal fluid has no viscosity. Absolutely correct. Ideal liquid or ideal fluid has no viscosity. Satisfies the relationship or relation PV equal to RT? Yes. Dear friend, fluid is the common title given for liquid, both liquid and gas. Liquid and gas. Your ideal gas equation PV equal to RT. You might have studied in the 10th class level also. This is ideal gas equation. That is also looking correct. Obeys the Newtonian law of viscosity. Need not be. Option D. See both incompressible and non-viscous. Absolutely correct. Though A and B are looking correct, option D is absolutely correct. Remember, my dear friends, in the fluid mechanics we are talking about the liquids only. Ideal liquid has no viscosity. Ideal liquid has no viscosity. No viscosity. Ideal liquids has no viscosity. And another important point, ideal liquid is incompressible. You cannot compress it. Incompressible. Incompressible. Dear friends, incompressible means volume does not change or density does not change. Incompressible means density remains constant irrespective of pressure. Irrespective of pressure. Anyhow, for the given problem, though A and B are looking correct, option D is most appropriate answer. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the problem. A fluid which obeys the relation mu equal to tau by du by dy is called Newtonian fluid. Newtonian fluid. Remember, for a Newtonian fluid, or if the shear stress tau is proportional to rate of shear strain denoted by du by dy, such kind of fluid is called Newtonian fluid. Therefore, for a Newtonian fluid, tau is proportional to du by dy. For eliminating the proportional limit, you are putting a constant called coefficient of dynamic viscosity into du by dy. From this, mu equal to shear stress by du by dy. So this is the Newtonian rule. Newtonian rule or Newtonian law. Mu equal tau by du by dy is the Newtonian rule. Therefore, the option C is absolutely correct. Let us take one more problem. Look at the fourth problem. The general relation between the shear stress tau and velocity gradient du by dy for a fluid can be written as tau equal to a into du by dy power n plus b. Dear friends, the tau equal to a into du by dy power n plus b is also called power law. Remember, for ideal fluid, a equal to 0 and b equal to 0. That is the condition for ideal fluid. Whereas for Newtonian fluid, b equal to 0 and n equal to 1. If b equal to 0 and n equal to 1, tau equal to a into du by dy, that a is taken as mu into du by dy. That is for Newtonian fluid. Whereas for dilatant fluid, remember, for dilatant fluid b equal to 0, but n is greater than 1. Whereas for pseudoplastic fluid, for here p silent, pseudoplastic fluid, remember, b equal to 0, but n is less than 1. Now let us read the problem once again. Okay, this relation is given. Okay. Which of the following is then a false statement? You are asked to decide the false statement. For ideal fluid, A equal to 0, B equal to 0. Look at our relation. For ideal fluid, A equal to 0, B equal to 0. So A is the correct statement, but you are asked to decide the incorrect statement. Therefore, option A is not correct. Come to the B. For Newtonian fluid, n equal to 1 and b equal to 0. Look at the Newtonian fluid, b equal to 0 and n equal to 1. So the correct. The second statement also correct. But since you are asked to decide the incorrect statement, this is also not coming under incorrect statement. Come to the dilatant fluid. For a dilatant fluid given n less than 1 and B equal to 0. No. For a dilatant fluid, this is the condition. B equal to 0, but n should be greater than 0. Therefore, the third statement is false statement. Since you are asked to decide the false statement, option C is absolutely correct. Option C is absolutely correct answer. That is how you can decide the answer. Let us go for one more problem. Look at the fifth problem. Typical example of non-Newtonian fluid of pseudoplastic variety. Dear friend, air is coming under Newtonian fluid, water is coming under Newtonian fluid, printing ink is also coming under Newtonian fluid, but is asking non-Newtonian fluid of pseudoplastic type. Non-Newtonian fluid of pseudoplastic type. Option B, blood is coming under pseudoplastic fluid. Of course, remember, though the printing ink is not coming under Newtonian fluid, it is not coming under pseudoplastic fluid. Remember, printing ink is coming under dilatant fluid. Dilatant fluid. Printing ink is a non-Newtonian fluid. Non-Newtonian fluid, but it is not coming under the variety of pseudoplastic fluid. It is the variety of dilatant fluid. Since he is asking non-Newtonian pseudoplastic fluid, option B is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the fifth problem. The coefficient of viscosity is a property of, undoubtedly, it is the liquid property or fluid property. So anyhow, the coefficient of viscosity is a property of the fluid. Option A is absolutely correct. It's a very easy problem. Let us take one more problem. Look at the sixth problem. Viscosity expressed in kg 4 second per meter square is converted into poise, unit of viscosity, by multiplying with. Dear friends, remember 1 kg force second per meter square equal to 9.81 Newton second per meter square is equal to 98.1 poise. And one more important relation, 1 poise equal to 1 Dine second per cm square, and 1 poise equal to 100 centipoise. These are the different relations. He is asking 1 kg 4 second per meter square to convert into poise unit. 1 kg 4 second per meter square equal to what? 98.1 poise. Therefore, it should be multiplied with 98.1. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the seventh problem. The multiplying factor for converting one stroke into meter square per second. Dear friends, one stroke equal to 1 cm square per second. As you know, 1 meter equal to 100 centimeters. From this, 1 centimeter equal to 1 by 100 meter equal to 10 power minus 2 meter. Therefore, 1 centimeter square is equal to 10 power minus 4 meter square. He is asking one stroke in meter square per second. Stroke equal to what? Centimeter square per second only. So 1 centimeter square per second equal to 10 power minus 4 meter square per second. That means to convert from centimeter square per second or stroke to meter square per second, it should be multiplied with 10 power minus 4. Therefore, look at the option D. Option D is absolutely correct. This kind of problem, my dear friends, frequently asking in the state level competitive exams. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 8th problem. At a certain point in castor oil, the shear stress is 0.022 kg force per meter square. Okay, shear stress tau is given 0.022 kg force per meter square. Okay, and the velocity gradient is 0.22 per second. Velocity gradient means du by dy 0.22 per second. Okay, per second given. The dynamic viscosity of castor oil in poise is numerically equal to. You are asked to decide the dynamic viscosity mu. Dear friends, the Newtonian law is tau equal to mu into du by dy. Tau is given how much? 0.022 equal to mu du by dy 0.22. From this, simplify for mu equal to 0.022 divided by 0.22. Simplify this 0.1 kg force second per meter square. But he is asking equivalent value in poise. As you know, 1 kg force second per meter square is equal to 9.81 Newton second per meter square is equal to 98.1 poise. It means indirectly 1 kg force second per meter square equal to 98.1 poise. You have to multiply this 0.1 with the 98.1. 0.1 into 98.1 for getting in poise. This is equal to 9.81 poise. As you know, G equal to acceleration due to gravity, G equal to 9.81 meter per second square. Therefore, the equivalent value of mu is equal to G only. Look at the options. So anyhow, the dynamic viscosity of castor oil in poise is numerically equal to G. Option B is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Dear friends, this problem is very important problem. I have been expecting this kind of problem in the competitive exam, but I did not find this kind of problem may be asked right this year or next year. You please try to practice 2-3 times the same problem. Let us go for the next problem. Look at the 9th problem. For a liquid having specific gravity 0.95, given that specific gravity of the liquid 0.95 and dynamic viscosity 0.012 poise. Dynamic viscosity mu equal to 0.012 poise. Okay. The kinematic viscosity in centistokes will be about. You're asked to find the kinematic viscosity in centistokes. Let us do that part. As you know, my dear friends, 1 kg 1 kg force second per meter square equal to 9.81 Newton second per meter square is equal to 98.1 poise. From this I can say that 1 Newton second per meter square equal to 10 poise, or 1 poise equal to 1 by 10 Newton second per meter square, or 0.1 Newton second per meter square. Since look at the mu is 0.012 poise. For converting it in Newton second per meter square, should multiply with 0.1. It should be multiplied with 0.1. So 0.012 into 0.1 Newton second per meter square may be 0.0012 Newton second per meter square. And one more important information, specific gravity equal to density of the liquid by density of the water. From this density of the liquid equal to specific gravity of that liquid multiplied by density of the water. Specific gravity of the liquid is given 0.95. 0.95 multiplied by 1000 is equal to 950 kg per meter cube. Therefore, kinematic viscosity kinematic viscosity nu equal to mu by rho. What is the mu value? This is the mu value 0.0012. 0.0012 divided by 950. You simplify this value for getting 12.63 into 10 power minus 4 meter square per second. As you know, 1 meter square equal to 10 power 4 centimeter square. Therefore, it can be written as 12.63 centimeter square per second. And here 1 centimeter square per second is equal to 1 stoke. It is equal to 12.63 stoke. 12.63 stoke. 12.63 stoke. Look at the options. 12.6 stoke. Though it is asked centistokes, it might be stokes only, because there is no other options to convert it into centistokes. Therefore, indirectly it is asked in stokes only. 12.6 stokes. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Remember, my dear friends, one stoke equal to 100 centistokes. So to convert it from stoke to centistokes, it should be multiplied with 100. Then the answer may be 1263. Since 1263 is not available in our options, though it is asked centistokes, the answers are given in terms of stokes only. That is the reason I selected option C. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 10th problem. The density of a fluid is sensitive to changes in pressure. The fluid will be known as, remember my dear friends, if pressure increases, density increases. If pressure decreases, if pressure decreases, density decreases for compressible fluid. For compressible fluid. But for incompressible fluid, if density remains constant irrespective of pressure, the fluid is called incompressible. Incompressible. Incompressible fluid. Generally, liquids are coming under incompressible. Gas is coming under compressible fluid. For our case, it is clearly given the density of the fluid is sensitive, means density changes with pressure. Such kind of fluid is called compressible fluid. Therefore, option D is absolutely correct. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 11th problem. A unit cubic meter of water is subjected to a pressure of 10 bar. Unit cubic meter of water means initial volume V equal to 1 meter cube, and pressure P equal to 10 bar 10 into 10 power 5 Pascal. Okay, then a change in volume of water amounts to, you are asked to find the change in volume dV equal to how much. Okay, for the water, bulk modulus given. Bulk modulus is denoted by K. Bulk modulus K equal to 2 into 10 power 9 Pascal. Okay, dear friends, bulk modulus K equal to dP by minus dV by V. From this you can also write K equal to V into dP by minus dV. Minus dV equal to V dP by K. The negative sign indicates as the pressure increases, volume decreases. So V is given 1. dP, this P itself is equal to dP 10 into 10 power 5 divided by K 2 into 10 power 9 minus dV equal to 10 power 6 by 2 into 10 power 3 into 10 power 6. So I have written 10 power 9 equal to 10 power 3 into 10 power 6. 10 power 6, 10 power 6 cancelled. Minus dV equal to 1 by 2000 meter cube. The negative sign indicates as the pressure increases, volume decreases. Therefore, dV equal to, change in volume dV equal to 1 by 2000 meter cube. So that is the answer. Look at the options. 1 by 20 is not correct. 200 is not correct. 1 by 2000 absolutely correct. Option C is absolutely correct. Dear friends, these are all very equally important problems. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 12th problem. The bulk modulus of water with respect to air is about. Dear friends, remember this value. Bulk modulus of air equal to approximately, better to write approximately 100 kilopascal. Whereas bulk modulus of water is 2 into 10 power 6 kilonewton per meter square. Therefore, bulk modulus of water divided by bulk modulus of the air is 2 into 10 power 2 into 10 power 4 divided by bulk modulus of air is 100 kilopascal. This is also approximately 10 power 2 kilopascal. So 10 power 2, these two are cancelled, equal to 2 into 10 power 4, 2 into 10 power 4. Therefore, bulk modulus of water is around 20,000 times that of the bulk modulus of the air. This is the relation between the approximate relation between the bulk modulus of water and bulk modulus of air. Look at the options. Here the problem is the bulk modulus of water with respect to air is 20,000. I hope you got my point. You better to remember bulk modulus of water and bulk modulus of air. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the next problem. The height of liquid in a capillary tube, option A, increases with a decrease in diameter of tube, increases with increase in specific weight of the liquid, decrease with an increase in surface tension. Option D is independent on the orientation of the tube. Dear friends, capillary height H equal to 4 sigma cos theta by rho g d. For a particular liquid, as you know, sigma is the liquid property and density also liquid property. Theta also remaining constant, angle of contact. Therefore, I can say that this whole term is constant for a particular liquid. Then what is the H? H is some constant by D. Then H into D equal to constant, or H1 D1 equal to H2 into D2. H2 into D2. From this, H2 equal to H1 D1 by D2. Look at the very first option. The height of the liquid in a capillary tube increases with the decrease in diameter of the tube. For example, if I decrease the diameter of the tube, definitely height of the liquid rise in the capillary tube increases. Therefore, option A is absolutely correct. Similarly, vice versa. If the diameter of the capillary tube increases, height of rise of liquid decreases. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the next problem. Water rises to a height of 15 mm in a capillary tube of 10 mm radius. The corresponding rise in a capillary of 5 mm radius would be, it is given like this. As you know, H1 D1 equal to H2 D2, or in terms of radius, I can also write H1 R1 equal to H2 R2. Just now, for the previous problem, we have discussed this point, H2 into R2. Here, first height of the capillary is 15 with a radius R1 equal to 10. Equal to H2 is how much? For the capillary radius, capillary tube radius 5 mm. From this, H2 equal to 150 divided by 5 is equal to 30 mm. So that is the answer. I hope you understood. This kind of problem is also very important. Look at the option D. Option D is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the last problem. At a liquid air solid interface, the contact angle theta measured in the liquid is less than 90 degrees. This indicates that the liquid is, dear friends, the contact angle is less than 90 degrees. It is looking like this. That this is some liquid. When you dip the capillary tube, liquid will rise when the contact angle is less than 90 degrees. This is the surface tension direction. This is the theta. Look at the theta. Theta is less than 90 degrees. That kind of angle is called acute angle. Since the liquid is rising in the capillary tube, this indicates the liquid is wetting. Look at the problem. At a liquid air solid interface, the contact angle theta measured in the liquid is less than 90 degrees. This indicates that the liquid is wetting the surface of the tube. So it is happening for the case of water. But if you take the mercury, for dipping the same capillary tube, the mercury level the mercury level in the capillary tube is falling down like this. This is called capillary depression or capillary fall. Here this is the direction of surface tension sigma, and this is the contact angle theta. Look at the theta here, theta greater than 90 degrees. This kind of angle is called obtuse angle. Remember, if the angle is greater than 90 degrees, the liquid level is falling, then the capillary tube inner surface cannot become wet. This is the case of mercury. So anyhow, for this case, mercury inner, the glass tube, capillary tube inner surface becoming wet. Inner surface becomes wet above the water level. But in this case, the capillary tube inner surface cannot become wet above the liquid surface. So anyhow, the answer is, once again let me read the problem. At a liquid air solid interface, the contact angle theta measured in the liquid is less than 90 degrees. This indicates that the liquid is wetting. Absolutely correct. It is happening for the case of water. For the case of mercury, it is not happening. Therefore, option B is absolutely correct. I hope all of you got my point. This is the capillary rise H. Let me write clearly. This is called capillary rise, and this is called capillary depression. Or capillary fall. I hope you got my point. So with this, my dear friends, I am concluding this video. You please go through all these problems. While you are practicing, if you find any difficulty, please send a message to the GeoByte. Definitely, the GeoByte team will answer within 24 hours. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel to encourage us, and we will provide some more important videos. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
GeoByte.